Management Research. Hello and welcome to the Management Research podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Eugene. Hello and welcome to the next episode in our mini-series on Relational Models Theory. And in our previous episodes, we talked about the Relational Models Theory, how it came to life and why it is a very robust anthropological theory. And in the previous episode, we talked about the communal sharing, one of the four models of relationships that Alan Fiske observed during his research. I think it was in Burkina Faso. Although in his work, Alan Fiske proposes to start as a next model with the authority ranking model, in this episode I would like to talk about the equality matching model, because although it appears later in the relationship than the authority ranking model, but it's much closer to the communal sharing model, and this is the one where my students have the highest level of confusion, and me personally had also the highest level of confusion with this model. The equality matching model is different from the communal sharing model because it is a kind of qui pro quo relationship. If I do something for you, you do something for me. And if you want to think about what is a typical relationship here, this would be the carpooling or car sharing. So the carpooling, if you have a car and you agree with your colleagues and you drive them, let's say 1 week to work, then next week one of the colleagues will drive you and the others to work. And the third week, the third colleague is going to drive you to work. In this event, everybody knows whose car is driven, and everybody knows that they are kind of obliged to do something because somebody else did it for them. So it's a kind of, you did it for me, so I have to do it for you. Another typical relationship would be the family sitting or babysitting. If you ask your friends to take care of your kids, and then you feel kind of obliged in, let's say, next week to take care of the kids of the friends who took care of your kids. So the exchange here, the dimension of exchange, is regulated by giving something, assumes that something is going to be given back. So it is a kind of return that's going to happen there. If you think about distribution and use, then things are divided into shares of the same size, or if you cannot divide something, you use the things in turns. For example, if there is a job to be done, washing the dishes, you cannot do it together like two people. That's why you agree, okay, I do it today and you do it tomorrow. This is a kind of qui pro quo relationship. The work is split evenly, or you take turns, as I showed you with example of washing the dishes. The morals in this model, the dimension of morals, is explained by the phrase right to equal treatment. So every party in this relationship has right to be treated equally. The decisions are made by the rule one person, one vote. And fairness of participation decision-making is also very important in these types of relationship. And finally, we have the identity dimension, and all parties, they consider themselves to be peers, fellows, co-partners, and they have to have a kind of this equal treatment, and everybody has one vote. As you see, this relationship is close to communal sharing, but with a huge difference. So first of all, the resources do not belong to everybody. They belong to each person separately, and if you use something of the resources, you have to give something back. And this something back is very interesting. If I give you a pen, it doesn't mean that you have to give me a pen. You can give me a postcard, for example, in advance. So it doesn't matter what, it should be something that's given to you back. And if I help you repairing your motorcycle, then you can help me with painting my ceiling. And it's also fine because you don't have to be doing, I don't know, it can be a different job. You just have to show that you do something with respect to what have been done to you, and you just give something in return. So you try to be as equal as possible and try to organize a relationship that everybody is treated equally. And if you do something or you want to do something together, you vote. As you remember, in the event of family, it is developed based on a consensus where people have to agree on something. It's not about voting. And here it comes. Actually, I know many more families that rely on equality matching type of relationship than on communal sharing. As I told you, when I explained communal sharing model, I asked my students to think about the ideal family. And I don't know why. There is no something like an ideal family. It's just probably one of the prejudices that we have in the society or in some societies. Probably depends on where you come from. But what I observe more often is that we have the equality matching types of relationships within a family, where the work is distributed. For example, I'm washing the dishes and you are cleaning the toilets, or I'm taking the kids from school on Monday and Wednesday, and you do it on Tuesday and Thursday. And on Friday we do it, for example, jointly. Where we really see how the exchange happens, and it is not good or bad just because it is just a different types of relationship. And as I told you, there are 4 models that Fiske proposed, and we use all of these 4. We just switch between them. That is why don't get confused if you are called that this is not a typical relationship for the family. No, it can also be a typical relationship. It's not the one that we usually assume, like it is the stereotype of the ideal family, but actually I observe this type of relationships more often in families. If you think about the firms, it is remember I told you as example for communal sharing, the manager coming to office and saying we are one family. In the event of equality matching, we would say we are one team. It means we share the responsibility, and if I do something, then somebody else have to do something, because we are one team, we're part of one team, and if there is a job, we have to contribute at least equally, more or less, and if somebody does more of the job, then the others have also to offer something in order to be at the same level of efforts, at the same level of investments into the joint project. I hope it was interesting. We know now the 2 models, the communal sharing from the previous episode and the equality matching from this episode. And in the next episode, we're going to talk about the authority ranking model. Meanwhile, wish you all the best and good luck with your relationships in your family, in your firm, or whatever relationships you want to investigate. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.